All right, went out, got some 0 to 60 pulse. We got some launching, shifting, shifting. I missed third gear in one of the runs. You know, I'm human, shift happens. We got a lot of data to cover. It's my first time ever launching the car, believe it or not. So we're gonna cover what I was able to get and analyze the data to the best that I can. As most of you guys know, I love analyzing data and I love kind of recording these type of videos. I have a lot of like 40 to 100 runs, for example. I actually have two because the first one, the conditions were not optimal. And unfortunately, in this video with 0 to 60, the first run I missed third gear, it didn't go in. And the second run, which did count and it was good, the slope was over 4% according to the Dragy. I thought the road was pretty flat, but the Dragy said over 4%. So going off of that, obviously the numbers could have been a lot better. We're still gonna go over it though, because I was able to get it and it was my first time, like I said, launching the car and doing a 0 to 60 pull in it. So we're gonna go over all the data. I'm not really gonna compare in this video to anything. This is more or less me sharing my journey. That was the point of my channel, going over everything. My car has running a Eurocompulsion Phase 1 tune, as well as a bunch of bolt-ons, which I'll have them in the description as well, so you can see everything. It's got, like, you know, full exhaust, intake, some blow-off valve. It's got a bunch of stuff. I'll have it below though, so you guys can look at that and know what my car and the setup is for these results. Now, the reason why I'm not gonna bother comparing in this video is I just wanna give up straight up results for what I got. I did a little bit of research though, and I looked on the forum and on YouTube, and I got people seeing anywhere from like high 5s to like low 8s for 0 to 60 on this car. And that's, again, ranging from like completely stock to more powerful than my car and what it's currently tuned on. You mix that all up with location and, you know, for 0 to 60, you got the launch, which tires, shifting, there's so many variables, temperature, this, that. So I'm just gonna share my results. We're gonna go over them, we're gonna analyze them, and we're gonna kind of talk about what I think, my opinion on some of the results are and what maybe could have been better. And at the end of the day, I want you guys to also help me out because I love talking about this stuff. There's plenty of you guys that know a lot more than me when it comes to racing and performance driving. So I'm gonna give my input on my results and the conditions and everything, and then you guys could also let me know as far as tires and launch and how good the 60 foot was and this and that and all that stuff, G-force, this, that. I have some theories involved that we're gonna cover, and then you guys who know a little more, you know, by all means, let me know. Even if you don't know, but give your 2 cents. Let me know what you think, how I could have got a better time or what it could have been or this or that, whatever, it don't matter. And in this video, I went all out. I mic'd up the engine, I mic'd up the exhaust, I have a mic inside. I have my iPhone recording straight forward for the Dragy data. I have a GoPro right behind me showing interior with shifting and everything. We're gonna have a lot of cool things. Between the videos, between the sounds, we're gonna have a lot of stuff. So the video should be pretty nice. So if you wanna support the channel, you can head over to drivendistrict.com. We have a bunch of merch, some cool designs. We got more coming soon. If you like the video, as always, you can give it a like, comment, let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't, we got some more things going. As I am recording this video later this week, so maybe a couple days after this is released, maybe same day, who knows. I'm going phase 2, I got tires on order, we got the intercooler going on, so we got some more data and more things coming for the channel, so stay tuned for that. So now it's time to dive into the data. Let's go see those 0 to 60 runs, launches, everything, video, sounds, and everything, and let's see what we were able to do in my 124 Abarth. All right, so personally, I'm not the biggest fan of launching the car. You know, it puts a lot of stress on it and everything, and honestly, I just feel bad for it. So what better way to start things off than making my first launch basically completely useless because I missed third gear and we really didn't get a good and accurate 0 to 60. But regardless, we're gonna cover it real quick. So let's go over that. This is the in-car GoPro view, where you're going to be hearing the sounds from the engine and exhaust being mic'd up. You're going to see the launch, the shifting, etc. And then we'll go into the Dragy showing the data, although like I said, the 0 to 60 is going to be kind of long, but we'll get a 60 foot out of it at least, you know, we got something. All right, so that was the miss shift of third where it just kind of didn't go in. Let's actually see the Dragy clip recorded straight out of the iPhone and see what data we got out of that one. So as we can see here, the 0 to 60 was 7.77, nothing great, but I completely didn't go into third and that took a long time. 60 foot 2.33, it's not the best, it's not good by any means, but I don't think it's terrible considering I was on stock 205 tires and they gripped fairly quickly. My launch control, we'll talk about that a little later where I set it, but like I said, we're gonna go through all the data first. So now let's go and see the real clip interior first, like I just showed you for the run that counted, and then we will go and see the 0 to 60 result from the Dragy. So this is the one where the Dragy says I was at a 4% incline. I thought the road was kind of flat, you know, it might even look like there's a little bit of an incline here. So if we go off of the Dragy being 4%, I'm not going to do any adjustments because I don't know how to even adjust for a 4% incline of a slope, but I do reset the Dragy right here on screen. I hit the reset button, we start fresh from this point. Let's see what happens. All right, so we went through all the gears all nice. Now let's see the Dragy, which is going to tell us our 60 foot and our 0 to 60. There we go, 6.24 is what I was able to get. I'm going to put the time slip on screen in a bit. We got the 60 foot of 2.27. We got it down quite a bit. We were at 2.33. We got it down to 2.27, again, on factory skinny 205 tires. And, you know, we are chirping second gear. Something else that I wanted to touch base on, and this is one of the things, like I said in my intro, that I want to get input from other folks as well. So if I rewind a little bit, let's go to that second gear shift where when I go into second gear, you're going to notice I hit negative 0.2 G. So I've seen some other folks do it where it just goes down to 0, 0. Even my first run, I think it only went down to 0, 0, even though I did chirp second. But I'm thinking, and again, I would love some opinion on this, since it's in a negative 0.2, I'm assuming that it spun a little more than I should have for the fact that I am on the factory 205 tires. This is where I think wider, stickier tires will come into play, because having a negative G means my car was not having that forward velocity at that same momentum for a certain amount of time, and that happens right when I shift. I'm gonna go a little before, and I'm gonna press play, and you're just gonna hear and see it, you know, how it happens. So as you saw, and then even third to fourth, it went to a negative 1. So, you know, that's where maybe having better tires, not only could it help with the 60 foot, the other thing is the launch control. So let's go over that real quick. We're gonna hop back over to this video. I have my launch control set at 3,800. So something else that I did was about 4 months ago, before I had anything, like right when I got the car, because I didn't get this that long ago, before tuning it, before anything, I made a poll on the forum asking people, what do you guys have your launch control set at, and give me your input. And I think I had it set for like a poll, like 3,000, 3,500, and 4,000. Some typical areas that people usually choose. And I think the poll ended up with 2 people voting 4,000, 1 person voting 3,500. And then some other people just kind of commented and said, I think it was Greg, he said that he did 3,000 RPM when he was at 14.34 quarter mile that he ran. He's like, you know, it might not be optimal, but it's not abusive. Someone else said they had 3,000, but they thought it wasn't enough, and they're probably going to go to 35 because at 3,000, it just kind of bogs it down a bit. And then someone else, I think it was Haz, who was actually also very active on the forum, he said that if it's above 4,000 or 5,000, typically that's where the street tires start to lose traction. So with all that in mind, I just kind of picked my own number, and that was 3,800. You know, it was whatever. I just picked 38. So with that said, you're gonna see 3,800 right here is my launch control, and the car does not overspin. My car in this video starts getting traction at about 4 miles an hour. We can see the RPMs after the launch, like right around there, a little below 2,500 is where it's kind of steady. And then if we look at this video, you're gonna see that at about 4 miles an hour, it's not hopping anymore. Like, it was hopping and it stopped. By 6, we're good. By like 4 to 6 miles an hour, it went, it was good. So with that in mind, could I have gotten a better time, a better 0 to 60, a better 60 foot? The fact alone that it was on a 4% slope according to the Dragy definitely means it could have been 5 seconds, I would say. You know, I don't want to say it because I don't like making numbers up that aren't there, but 6.24 on a 4% slope, you know, I would like to think it would be a high 5s, but pretty soon we'll be going phase 2. And we'll see what we could do there. All right, so real quick, I'm throwing in this clip. I actually did another 0 to 60 the day after. So after I started recording and editing this video, but I'm throwing it in real quick because I just went over 2 of my 0 to 60 runs where I launched at 3,800 and the car started to grip very, very early, as you guys saw. Around 4 to 6 miles an hour, it gripped. That was basically at around 2,500 RPM or before. Now in this run, the satellite was low on the Dragy, so the data was invalid. I'm not even gonna bother sharing that data, and I did record on screen, but it didn't save. Anyway, that wasn't the point of this. I'm just sliding this in because the runs I did that I just showed you were in 50-degree temperatures, and this one here, according to the car, was 62. We're 10 degrees warmer, and I spin all through second gear to above 20 miles an hour. So, as you saw right there, first gear was just hopping the entire time basically to Redline to give or take around 20 to 23 miles an hour until I got into second. So I don't know. I was talking about 3,800 is probably a really good launch point because it gripped and went. These are still, it was the very next day. I don't have anything else done to the car. It's still factory tires, 205. It was actually 10 degrees warmer. The Dragy said I was on a decline slope, so maybe that made it spin more, I don't know. But again, it was invalid data. I'm not sharing this particular one for number purposes, just putting it in there because it just kind of shows that, I guess, depending on the launch, you could just spin all out through first gear. Let me know your guys' input on how the 2 runs yesterday, which was colder, gripped right away, and this run here, 10 degrees warmer, decided to spin all the way through first gear. I highly doubt the tires got that worn out from one day. This is literally the very next day. That's it. We'll go back to the video now. So now, enough with this talking. Let's look at the time slip. So here's the time slip. It was 50 degrees that day. The DA was almost 0, negative 200, not much. And then we have the 6.24 and that crazy slope of 4.32. Let's actually go a little lower because I want to go over some other data that the Dragy gives us. Now, it was brought to my attention that the 1 foot rollout number is used a lot. So I did some research and I came across an article from Car and Driver in 2019 that they said going forward, all of their testing is going to be using the 1 foot rollout number. They said they have the proper tools to do that, and that's what they're going to do. The Dragy does also take into consideration your 1 foot rollout, but they put it down here. So my 0 to 60 was 6.24, and the 1 foot rollout 0 to 60 is 5.93. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to say I did 5.93 because this is one of the things that I'm not too sure about on how it's used. If Car and Driver in their quarter mile and 0 to 60 uses the 1 foot rollout, then if you're comparing apples to apples when it comes to at least using a 1 foot rollout, because nothing is apples to apples in these type of tests, then maybe the 5.93 might be more accurate. But comparing it to other folks using a Dragy, then maybe the 6.24 would be more accurate because not everyone mentions the 1 foot rollout. So with that said, I would love for you guys to kind of comment below and give your insight on, let's say, my 60 foot 2.27, keeping in mind I'm on factory 205 again all season, I think is what the car comes with. If not, someone correct me, I'll have to look again. But they're still 205 and they're not extremely sticky summer tires. I have a set of Continental Extreme Contact Sport 215s coming in, and those are going to be going on with the intercooler and with the Phase 2 tune. 215s are going to be wider, and the Extreme Sport Contact from Continental are going to be stickier. So we're going to have wider and stickier tires. My question to some of you guys are, how is the 60 foot 2.27? How was the launch? Which, if we look at it from this perspective, we have a 3,800 RPM. So how was that? If we look at it from here again real quick. So how was the shifting? How was the 60 foot, taking in consideration that I'm on the stock tires? As far as like the G-force itself, the way you're getting pushed back into the seat, more or less, the G-force, what I noticed is in first gear, my car hits 0.8 G's twice. Or no, I think it's once. It hits 0.8 over here, and then 0.7. And then by the time I go into second gear, like I said, it goes down to negative 0.2. And then we go back up and hit 0.8 again in second gear. Once here, I think that's it. Hits 0.7 multiple times. And then it goes to negative 0.1 again, shifting into third. And then in third gear, we hit 0.6. And then we're at 60. So, you know me, I love diving into all these little things. Even if I don't understand all of them, I like to bring them up and kind of analyze it and get some input from all you guys. All right, so real quick, I gotta compare this. So we have both time slips up right here. On the left-hand side, we have the one where I did not go into third gear. That's where you see that flat spot. And this was the one that was the run we counted of the 2.24. Now, the 60 foot isn't on this particular area, so that's why I just added it myself right here. So there's two things I wanna go over real quick. The 60 foot of 2.27 compared to 2.33. Now with the 60 foot being better from 2.27 compared to 2.33, I'm gonna go on a limb and say 10 out of 10, you're 0 to 10 miles an hour. Should be quicker, but it's not. If you look on the left side, which is the one where I did not shift into third properly, it's 0.77 seconds, where on the right it's 0.79. Again, kind of confirming that the slope was higher in that second run, where the Dragy's at 4.32% compared to the first one, which was 1.46. I really wish I got into third on that one, because I got a good feeling that would have been a lot better of a time. Furthermore, if we look at the 0 to 20, it is quicker on this one, but then every other one after that, left run, is quicker. 0 to 60 we can't count because that's right before I go into third and miss shift. But 0 to 30, we got 2.62 compared to 2.68. To 40, 3.52 to 3.54, and to 50, 4.61 to 4.65. So to 50, we were 0.04 quicker. Not a ton, but it just kind of shows that it was moving quicker on that first run up until I kind of screwed that up. And the other thing was, if you remember, I talked about the G-force and how when I shifted into second, it went into a negative 0.2. And now that I analyze this a little bit more, I can see it on the slip. If we look right here, that's my first to second gear shift. And on the left-hand side, it doesn't go flat as much as it does on that second run. The first run, it just went down to 0.00. Both of them were very quick shifts, I would say. But on that second run, the G-force goes into a negative. You can see the acceleration line go flatline for a little bit more. The blue line, or the speed I should say, the acceleration does drop a lot harder than this. So that first to second gear shift put a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but when it comes to 0 to 60 and these small incremental fractional numbers, it could have been better. And again, it just kind of confirms that those better tires are gonna help. So I'm excited to get those tires and see what we can do with a more powerful tune, and hopefully those tires will complement it, get some better grip. And it's like I said, I wanted to put this out there because I love analyzing this stuff, and it just kind of caught my eye after looking at these two side by side. So I think that's gonna be it. You know, it was definitely fun doing this. I'm excited to get the new Phase 2 tune-on with the intercooler. I'll probably be doing the spark plugs at that time, as well as the tires, and then the 4C coil packs are not in yet. Those will be going on later. We'll get more data then, try and find a flat road. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the 1 foot rollout number, when it's used in what applications, if most people refer to it as the 1 foot rollout, or do they just go off of the 0 to 60 that you see, you know, up here, the 6.24, if people use this more or less, the slope, whatever. As always, talking cars, that's it. Let's keep it fun and everything. Comment below, let me know what you think, and look forward to that Phase 2 update. It's going to be soon. Subscribe if you want to catch that, and I'll catch you guys soon.